Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 181. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam.
And AJ.
Sweet. AJ's joining us today.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got for us, Sam?
Today, we are going to promote your guys' event.
Sweet.
Right? That's the plan?
And just chat.
I don't know what you
chat.
told AJ what we were doing today.
We're just going to wing it.
We're just chatting. Okay.
See where life takes us.
He did mention the old REI-Con 23 promotion. Talk about that a bit.
We can start with that, and then we can go hog wild after that.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So when is it?
April 22nd, starting at 8 a.m. at Metropolis in Eau Claire. AJ and I are hosting REI-Con 2023.
How do you spell REI-Con?
REI-CON.
That's
Real Estate Investment
Convention?
Conference.
Sorry.
No, okay.
It's that cool as shit, dude. REI-Con's so sick.
It's so cool, but that's why I wanted you to spell it, because it's not the normal, like, REI-Con way.
Yeah, when you said REI-Con, I was like, REI-Con? How the fuck does that have anything to do with real estate? And then you, like, typed it out for me. I was like, damn, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So who do you have speaking?
Good job.
So we got Audrey Borcherding starting out. She'll be discussing vision, which will be really good. And then after Audrey, we have Mark Dolfini. Following up after lunch is Mike Morawski. And then ending the event is Dan Schwartz.
Cool. I like you only talked about Audrey and what she's talking about.
All right. Mark Dolfini is talking about like time management and how to kind of like the 4-hour work week aspect, so real estate doesn't run your life. So being like time free in real estate as much as you can, right? Because it's more of like real estate, as AJ knows, is like horizontal income instead of vertical income, where vertical income you have to like work hourly to get. Mm-hmm. Horizontal income, it's not necessarily hourly you have to work, but you still have to put work in to receive that income.
Right.
Like AJ and I don't just have properties because we have properties. We had to.
Yeah, that's one thing. People look at real estate as passive income. There's ways you can run it more passive than not, but even if you have property management running your stuff, someone still has to manage property management, right? So you're never, in my opinion, you're never truly hands off. And you're still needing to watch, make sure stuff's being done. But
absolutely.
So we're starting out. You guys did talk about Audrey.
Yep. So Audrey's doing vision.
So the reason we decided, really wanted her to cover vision to start. So I think some people get caught up on the hype of, real estate, making money, blah blah blah, but they don't really look into, okay, what is it going to take to get 100 deals done, and does that match what your vision truly is for your life? So start out with her so people can stop and think, what do I want my life to look like? Do I want my life to revolve around trying to get 100 doors in a year, 2 years, whatever that looks like? Or do you need 100 doors at all? So just to kind of look at that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So then after Mark and talking about time freedom in real estate, then we have Mike Morawski. And Mike is going to discuss multifamily investing, things you should do and things you should not do in multifamily investing, which would be a lot of fun.
That'd be good. I think that's good for like some of the people we know in real estate. Mm-hmm. Just because there are a lot of rules and stuff that I don't think people are aware of.
Yeah. A lot of people just like shiny object and running for the next thing, which is nice to have Audrey speak first. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like going into multifamily investing, how to properly syndicate or partnerships, things like that is really good. Mm-hmm. Would be really good.
Yeah, he's definitely, like we've talked, he's been down some paths that he doesn't shy away from. He definitely talks about his past and how it's helped him actually grow into a better person, better investor, better syndicator, everything. So along with that too, we are going to be doing breakout sessions after each speaker just to network a bit. The speakers will have tables set up. Yep. So it's not going to be, it's going to be tons of content, but we also have learned just from hosting our monthly meetings that about the hour 15 of content is enough. People want to get up and network a bit. So
yep, mingle, and then everyone can go check out booths, see if anyone's offering services that they're interested in. Like the gentleman we met at REI Coffee last week.
Yeah.
He's already got some money in syndication deals, and there'll be at least one, if not a couple, booths for syndications there. And so it'd be a really good way for individuals at a higher level looking for, like, that is passive, looking for passive income.
Yep.
To meet with syndicators or whatever it is.
Did we talk about what syndication is in the past? Maybe just give a refresher what syndication is.
Yeah, Rip.
So syndication is truly just dumping money with a firm usually that invests your money. They try to tell you roughly what the percentage is. That is never a guaranteed percentage. Just like investing in the stock market, you can have pretty good indicators of what that return is, but as far as a guaranteed return, they're not usually going to do that for you. But usually they're in a business to understand how to run their numbers, so they're pretty good at getting their return. So that's what syndication is. Kind of like you're saying, that is really the only passive way of doing it, because you're just collecting your check, and then if there's a buyout period, whatever, there's other ways of doing it. But
Right, absolutely.
And then wrapping up the event is
That'll be Dan Schwartz. And that'd be pretty exciting. I'm really excited for Dan Schwartz.
Yeah, I'm really excited for all of our speakers, but
Yeah.
to get this on board, this again is just the power of network. So we had someone else that had verbally committed.
Yep.
Their April ended up being way too busy. So we just reached out like, hey, do you have anyone that you would suggest to help with basically laying out so he's basically covering how to grow your business, but then also put different streams of what am I looking for? Like automation into your business. So he is the founder of InvestorFuse. InvestorFuse sold out to Carrot, which is another huge platform. Was that 2 years ago, did he say?
I believe so.
Yeah. So he can definitely go through the process of building a business. He also has something to offer in his 80-20 process, which he'll cover in more detail.
So I looked in that 80-20 group, his coaching group, and it's pretty sweet. It's he'll have a booth there for it, which will be really good. But it does what he did, and he's done multiple times, and he just teaches it on how to systemize your real estate company, what people to put in what roles, and how to pull yourself out of the business to be the owner and not the operator, which is really sweet. Really cool.
So breaks down to that common saying of working on your business, not in your business.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm really excited for that because I selfishly want that for myself. So I'm really excited for him to speak.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I do like going backwards a little bit, that you're going to have breakout sessions in between each speaker. Because that's like one thing I think at every event Shaun and I have gone to, I like wish they did. Because like the only time you get to converse with people and try network is like lunch or after the fact. And a lot of times, like the last one was really cool because they were giving away $10,000 to someone who really needed it.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
So like everyone was like promoting their businesses and it was really cool. But that one was also fun because you very quickly learned who was a very selfish person and who was not.
Dude, that was sick. So yeah, they were like, the last event was like, hey, I want you guys to network. You guys will tell us who needs the $10,000. So like, go learn about people, and so we can give away $10,000. And the people who were pitching, you almost knew that's who you didn't want to give your money to. You know what I'm saying? The people who were like, man, I really need this money because of this and this, and I'm doing this, and it's just like, I am not giving you $1.
Right.
Yeah, because you're supposed to go to like someone who they spent their last bit of money to get to that event, and like the one guy we were talking to, like he obviously was like very much like doing well,
Yeah.
He just wanted it to like jumpstart his business even further.
Uh-huh.
And it, like just the way he talked about it, and I was just like, no, dude, you're the most selfish person I've ever met.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was very entertaining.
You know what? That's kind of boils down to, we've talked about this in the past too. You know, people, talking about how great they are as well.
Right.
Right? Like, you don't have to do that.
Right. 100%.
People will do it for you.
100%.
So same thing. If you truly need something, it's usually going to be out there. Like, if it seems like people can just pick up on that, you don't have to sit there and beg, or it seems like usually the ones that are the loudest are the.
Pretty much almost every time, the loudest are the ones that don't need to be loud. Or they need to be loud because they don't have people being loud for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they do it because that goes into like the ego thing of you're looking for self-validation because other people aren't giving it to you.
Right.
So if I'm just being me and AJ's like, oh yeah, Shaun does this and whatever, and I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Then like you validate me because that's what I'm doing with my life. Now, if I'm cutting into your conversation with someone going, oh, I flip real estate and this is what I do, I was looking for you to boost my ego, but you didn't, so I boosted my own ego.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I just posted on Instagram, was like, be the bright light in the distance. So like,
Okay.
you don't have to
Yeah.
be like, you don't have to be the bright shining star right in people's faces. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room.
Right.
But if
I
you're
like
like
that.
that star in the distance, that like people are like, I know I can go to that person because like people gloat about the stars that are far away.
Right.
I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
You can break that down into social media too, right? Like,
Holy
chase
shit.
that rabbit down that hole as far as with
Mhm.
people posting stuff and literally being addicted to how many likes they have.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Or like posting the good shit all the time.
Not
Which-
posting the bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Plenty of that, isn't there?
There's a lot of that.
I've like thought about posting some of our fails on Instagram.
I can go all day, babe. I can go all day with fails.
Mhm.
They're all just, I don't know. It's like in our, because we do CCV with Rob Bailey, and he starts out all of his calls. He starts out with housekeeping and then goes right into wins and losses. And so every call he's saying like how he won that week and how he fucked up that week.
Yeah.
And there's some weeks where he lost like all across the board.
Yeah, dude, just like lost. And he's like, my win is I got to go to the ranch for an afternoon. It's like, damn.
Yeah, but you guarantee he's sitting in the background too, looking at those losses and why they're losses and making adjustments so they're
100%.
not a loss.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, he's the one with it's like the backwards vision board.
Yeah, so
He has a vision board of all of his problems, and he like has to, or he figures out how to solve all those problems.
so he can check them off that board. So yeah, he's got his like vision board where he's going, but then he's got his problem vision board, and that's like his day-to-day thing that runs him is his problems.
Love
Yeah.
it.
It's
Should we
just
wrap up one more thing on
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
on
recon.
REI-Con?
Yeah.
So we got our big sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Great.
So Legends title came through for us, which I love using Legends title. I never have to worry about anything. They do the work for me. I don't get phone calls, emails of needing this, needing that, when literally that's your job. You can handle it. You have the information you need to reach out. They always take care of that. So I've dealt with them since 12 years ago when I first invested. That's who I closed with.
Oh, awesome.
And I've seen all the family as well that runs it. So just printed off the sheet that we had for sponsorship, ran down there. And Rana was right between closing, so she hurried up and looked at it super quick. Said, I'll call you, you can count on me, and called and asked what the main sponsors that I talked about was. And said, AJ, you can count on us to do that. So I was like, sweet.
That's super cool.
So laying out the event,
Yep.
let's talk about how that whole thing went down.
All right.
Because, it's been a lot of work.
Yes, it has. So yeah, originally maybe it was December. I think December. You asked me if I ever had interest in doing a one-day event, and I was like, let me think about it. And then like a day later, I was like, yeah, we could probably do that. And in my brain, I'm thinking, well, we already host a monthly Wisco REIA. Like, it's not going to be much more. It'll just be like the same thing. Boy, was I wrong.
So when we talked about it too, we're like, let's just put it out there. So we did. We announced it.
Yeah.
I think we announced it first on Wisconsin, our Facebook page.
Yep.
Then we announced it at an event. And then it was like, well, crap, now we have no choice. We got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then the work began. A lot of work began.
Who are we going
to do for speakers? And we wanted some bigger speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely feel like we got the cream of the crop for speakers that were available to us.
I think so. I absolutely think so. I think we got very fortunate with the speakers we had. They're big speakers in their realm, and I like it because they're all very much tied to real estate, like 100% tied to real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Where we could have got, and that's so great with Wisconsin, because we could have gotten speakers that weren't all real estate, speakers that talk about vision but not related to real estate, people to talk about systemizing but not systemizing real estate, right? And so we're very fortunate to get like big hitters in the real estate world to come speak.
Right.
Yeah, it's not what did Mike say to us? It's not a hoorah kind of event. It's an actual learning event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would say to that?
We met this guy, Mike Crossan, who's he's in CCV, but he does digital marketing.
Digital marketing, yep.
And he told us, because we went to RSA in Nashville, and so did he. And he's like, yeah, I just didn't really like it. It was kind of more of like a hoorah event.
Yeah.
And not like I'm learning all this information.
Right. Yeah.
So that's part of our reasoning, too, for, you mentioned doing the breakout sessions. Because I've had that a lot of stuff that I went to in the past. By the end, for the networking stuff, hate to say it, but I'm like, networking quick, I'm ready to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on a one-day event, It's just, so, what else are we having? We're having a DJ for the whole day?
Yep, so we had to get a DJ. Lucked out with a really good DJ.
So huge shout out to Paul Wilkes,
Yep.
All Occasions DJ Service. They did our wedding. I've known him for many years, but what else we got, Shaun?
Really good guy. We got Mitch Stam for photography and videography, which would be really great. And then he's cutting up all the videos and everything for us, so that we'll have clips to keep posting throughout the year on how the event went, so we can promote the next event.
Yeah. So we're looking for the next event.
Of course, man. You gotta.
Are you gonna do one once a year or twice a year?
Oh, I just think one main event once a year. We'll start out with that. See how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they asked Tom Brady what his favorite Super Bowl ring was in an interview, and he said the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's smart.
I love that shit.
Right.
Love that shit. So yeah, of course there'll be more. So then after photographer and videographer, had to nail down a location. The location had to be big enough for 200 guests. We wanted to have like a bar attached and catering, because if we could kind of check all that off with the location, that was a lot less we had to coordinate, which worked out great. Chose Metropolis, because their event center is right across from the restaurant and the bar, and they can cater and everything for us.
Plus, for anyone coming out of town, we have a block of hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Oh, that's really nice. I didn't know about that part.
Yep. We should get that put in the website.
Yeah, let's get that link out there. So if anyone has questions on that, we can get that.
So that all actually went kind of relatively smooth, getting a lot of that. The speakers things was a little more ups and downs, and we're focusing on getting sponsors now.
But again, with that, going back to network, we could have panicked and been like, "Oh crap!" Our main one that we were really hammering on, except everyone else was already kind of locked in at the point, backed out on us, so to speak. He didn't really back out. He verbally committed, but said he had to check his schedule, and 2 weeks later came back and said, "Hey guys, I'm way too busy."
Mm-hmm.
Two things that we can do, right? Panic and go in every which direction to find someone new, or just go right to the source and say, "Hey, who do you got that would be a great speaker to cover the same topic that you're going to?" And he came back with Dan Schwartz, and then say, hey, if that doesn't work, I do have one other one you can reach out to. So
Yeah. No, that was the best thing you could have done is reach back out and ask. This fucking dog.
Hey, Sam, what do we got going here?
100% Mimi came here to play.
Oh my God.
If you guys watch the video, she's going hog wild now.
She went
and got her
and
lamb.
found the lamb.
This is what happens. We try to lock Mimi out because we know when there's a guest, she loves playing.
And sure enough, she goes gets the fucking lamb.
Yep.
I love it.
So then I would say the other part, so all that stuff kind of actually was all right because for you and I, it's just networking, talking to people, emails, things like that. So that wasn't the end, like, too bad. I'd say the little more hiccup was like getting the landing page done, and getting marketing and social media content and all that stuff rolling. That was a little more of a headache.
Yeah, so next 3 weeks we have to hammer on that and get Ace, our assistant,
Yep.
busting more of that stuff out. But I'd say for me, I guess what else was kind of stressful? Registration, that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I think a lot of people are just going to show up.
I was afraid of that this morning. This morning I was actually sitting there, I was reading my book this morning, and it like popped in my mind. I was like, fuck, dude, like, if people don't register, that's going to suck because they're not going to have lunch. Like, they're not, because like in order to because we're doing everything based on however many registries we get, like supply lunch for them. And so if people don't register, dude, and you show up, you might not get fucking Danish. You might not get lunch, dude. It is
Right.
kind of is what it is.
Where can they register?
So on Whiskelria, so you could go to whiskelria.com, go to events, scroll down April 22nd, you'll find that event, and then you just click on there and register. Super.
If you're a member, it's free. If you're not, it's $99. Our goal for this is for a membership drive. So
Yeah.
we're not pocketing a cent out of this.
Yeah.
If anything, we'll be pulling money out of our pocket to
Yeah, negative pocketing.
make it all go to plan. But
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's like, right, we do this for like give back. We don't do
right.
Whiskelria.
Same thing we did for Christmas party. Pull money out of our pockets to
Yeah.
make
You
it work.
should make sure Ace is like posting like every other day, like register for this event now. Register for this event
It's a really good idea.
Just have
So right now we
posting
have it
content.
every week, I think. But
Yeah,
I
we
think twice a week would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I would do a couple more times.
We also need to do one next week with the speakers. Have them do videos with us, just a
Yeah.
Zoom call and record it, promote it that way. Because obviously all those speakers have pretty good base of network. So
Absolutely. That's a really good point.
and all but one is, within driving distance.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Maybe one
which should
that's-
be able to pull in people from their locations.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be very fun. We're not promoting Tutors of Life there, are we, Sean?
No.
Yeah. Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Sean goes, no.
Sean, tell me why you would not promote. Because you know what? I used to always bring it up at the Whiskery events.
I know. Well,
And
now
you
we
guys
don't
never do.
well, now we don't have the haves and wants, so
Damn.
when are we supposed to bring it up? I suppose Sean,
Well,
your host, who can just be like,
yeah.
oh, if you want to learn more about real estate, listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
I should. I really should.
I am going to make I haven't done it yet, but on our Tutors of Life website, I'm going to make a tab for real estate podcast episodes. People can just find them directly on there.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't done it yet. It's coming.
So why do you say no to that, Sean?
Oh, I don't know. I just I'm like shy to promote myself. I don't know.
Is there a certain reason?
I don't know. Like, I honestly, like, when people talk about it, I'm cool. I'll just tell them about the podcast and all that. I just don't, like, I don't go to self-promote. I always, like we said earlier, I let other people do it for me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I should.
Mm-hmm.
I should do that.
It's one thing I think it's one thing to self-promote. It's another thing to sit up there and self-promote with arrogance.
Yeah, that's true.
If you go up there and say, we're the best damn podcast, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because when we networked at Rob's event, people would ask, like, what we do. So Sean would say he did the house flipping thing, and
Yep.
then I ran the podcast.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we obviously promoted it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there's any like political reasons.
Oh no, dude, I don't give a shit, dude.
Good. I like to hear it.
Yeah, dude. If you don't like me because because I'm not liberal, so be it.
Right.
It ain't no thing. I believe in, dude. I believe in freedom. I believe in fucking low taxes, and I believe in small business. Like,
So nothing liberal.
so do not. Yeah, seriously, that's nothing liberal. Like,
Right.
period. And I tell everyone that. Like, we're at a nursing home this week. We're at a nursing home, and I was talking to an older guy and an older lady, and they asked me about something political.
It was something about Obama, wasn't it?
It was. Oh yeah, because Michelle Obama has been like talk about running for office. Michelle Obama, and they're like, "How'd you like Obama?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he did some good things, and I think he did some not so good things." And they're like, "Yeah, that's every president." And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much." And the older guy's like, "Except the current one. What good has that come?" And I'm just like, "You're fucking 95, dude. How do you even know what's going on?"
Well,
In
Yeah.
a memory
it's kind of like
care.
our president.
Yeah, well, seriously.
Does he know what's going on?
I was more impressed because it was in the memory care unit, so they're all a little kooky
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and then the lady next to me said something about Trump and how she didn't like Trump. And I was like, yeah. She's like, did you like Trump? I was like, I really like low gas. I like low taxes. I like promotion of small business. I like freedom. So I was like,
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the shit he was doing.
So when a lot of people talk about it to me, I'm like, okay, but what didn't you like about his policies?
Right.
Like literally, what
Yep.
policy did he have that you did not care for?
Mm-hmm.
And usually that is a dead stop on conversation because they really can't think of anything outside of that. Oh, Trump's a racist. Okay, what did he do that was racist?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, nothing. Okay, how about historical funding for black colleges? Like,
Right.
and now that's wiped away. No one talks about that.
No.
Like that was wiped away. First week under the current administration, long-term funding for historical black colleges was wiped off the map. But yet,
Jeez.
Dang.
Trump's the racist piece of crap.
Right.
Dude,
The
my
hell
favorite
does
part
that?
about
Yeah.
all of
Great.
that shit was there were some riots somewhere, and Trump like mentioned something about like how we shouldn't be doing this, like this community is destroying their own or whatever.
Mm.
And people are like, oh, he's so racist for this. And then 4 years earlier, Obama said the exact same thing about a different city with riots for the exact same
Yeah.
reason. And it's just like, it was okay that he did it 4 years earlier when he was president, but it's not okay that this guy's saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
And I try to catch myself to not be so hypersensitive to shit that current administration is doing, right? Because it's like, okay, how's that any different than people that hated Trump?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I try to look at stuff with open eyes, but it's pretty challenging.
Yeah.
If you haven't catched, we're done talking about REI-Con. So
Oh yeah. We might touch back on it here and there, but whatever.
probably not. If you only want to listen to the REI-Con portion.
No, they're fine. They're gonna keep listening. No. So what like something really big on that front that people don't think about is how does it affect us, right? And so people will see Trump making mean tweets and they get really upset. They'll see in the media that he's this worst guy ever and they'd be really upset. But how was your day to day affected? Was it for a net positive or a net negative? So when gas was 99 cents, was that helping or hurting your life? When groceries were like at an all-time low, was that helping or hurting you? When you were getting tax breaks, was that helping or hurting you? And then on the contrary to now, we've had the highest gas prices ever in American history. Is that helping or hurting you? They got rid of the tax credits. It was like the child tax credits, a portion of it.
Oh, yeah, they lowered it.
They lowered it, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that helping or hurting the average family?
But they have all the talking points, so that's all that matters. Like people are so
Right.
brainwashed and have such hatred like, pounded down their throat that's literally. I don't think they can sit there and think when I have to fill my car up for $75.
Right.
It's you would think that would hurt and make you question what the hell is going on,
Right.
and why. You know, I talk about too with gas prices. Well, you know, we have to come up with alternative sources. If you want to look at alternative sources, perfect. do it.
Yeah, 100%.
But let's do it responsible. Like, okay, batteries clearly aren't the way, because look at the waste produced by that. Look at the mining process that happens through.
I just saw a
battery,
video
like-
on that, like how to make lithium batteries is like
Child slave labor.
no, well, yeah,
yeah.
but it's like worse. Just to make one single battery is worse than like an entire car's lifespan.
Right. Not only that, they can't be recycled.
Right.
Right.
Lithium is non-recyclable at this point. So what happens with that? Like,
Yep.
again, I'm all for alternative sources, and you want to start looking at that stuff. Cool. I think solar has a place, right?
Mhm.
But is it the end all be all? Probably not. Because what happens if you have wicked snowstorms
Yep.
or,
Right.
and look at for wind power. Sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to those big ass propellers? They have a lifespan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Those don't get recycled. They get buried in a huge, like, so when I talk about being green, like,
Right.
let's look at the full life cycle of stuff, not just
Well, and you know
what
what?
sounds good.
You know what those propellers need?
Oil.
Yeah.
Hundreds of gallons of oil to operate.
Right.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and it goes into that right there goes into like personal development and financial freedom, because I would say one of the first things. So a lot of people don't like speaking out on these things, or like not wearing the masks and things like that, because they're afraid of losing their job, or they're afraid of like how people will feel about them, right? And so if instead you had you like your own small business, or you're self-employed, or you have real estate, or whatever it is, you have a way that you have financial freedom, right? You can kind of say whatever you want because you're not afraid of like not being able to pay the bills. You live within your means, you're paying your bills. The same thing with like fuel and energy. If we were like self-sufficient in fuel and energy, then we could take our other assets and resources and look for better ways to make that system better, instead of, oh, we are dependent on everybody, so if we piss off too many people or we don't do deals with Russia anymore, now our oil goes way up. Well, that's some shit. Why don't we use our oil and not worry about them and take that excess money and excess headache and find alternate
Right.
sources?
We shut down our own pipelines, but yet then we approve pipelines in other countries.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of crap is that? And especially based on the premise that they were shutting ours down.
Right.
Like, you're shutting ours down because of the safety concerns, whatever else. But yet, I guarantee we have more processes in place to be safe with our pipeline than that's happening in other countries.
Oh yeah.
100%.
So it's like,
Well, and like the whole what was the one in, was it North Dakota?
Okay.
The big one?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the
Keystone.
Thank you. Because they stopped that one, and because they didn't finish it, the old pipeline leaked oil into their lake or whatever, that they were so worried about with this new pipeline. But if they would have let the new one finish,
right.
that issue
Because
would
those
have
essentially
happened.
have sensors and everything else. So if there's loss of pressure, they have valves every so often to shut down, is my understanding. So
Right.
it's like like you said, you stop new technology,
Yep.
which creates an issue. Like, just mind-boggling.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
it.
It's
Doesn't
just
make sense.
great. I also saw a post earlier about like a sustainable household, like how there's so many more natural things we could do for houses, like running more pipes throughout the house to like naturally heat the house with like hot water,
Yeah.
and then you can do like a compost, and with the compost you can collect the methane, which you can use to heat the water.
Yeah, compost actually produces a shit ton of heat too.
Yeah.
Like, just compost piles.
Yeah.
Obviously, the breakdown process creates heat and all. So, like you said, methane.
Yeah.
So, no one talks about doing stuff like that. Like, even gray water, right?
Right.
There's no reason we shouldn't have gray water recycling in the United States.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Stop using the bullcrap chemicals that we use in everyday products. Use more natural products. You should be able to recycle your gray water.
100%. You would absolutely think so.
Yeah.
But all those things you guys are talking about lowers the cost of living.
Yeah.
and we can't have that.
Yeah, because
Why, it's a
then
dependency? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have it. Let's force it.
and we'd stop the rich from getting richer.
Exactly. 100. Because
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. This news story popped up the other day. I already told Sean about this, AJ. Dude, the biggest chicken farm, like chicken egg company in the U.S., their profits were 718% higher last year. You're telling me there's a chicken egg shortage when your profits are 718% more? Hell no.
That's some good profit margin.
Speaking of
Dude.
chickens, we're going to have chickens.
Are you?
April 21st is actually when we pick them up, I think.
Hell yeah, dude.
Dang.
So we're doing it, and my wife is like, well, don't we got to get permits? It's like, pardon my French. I don't like to swear a lot, but sometimes I swear. I was like, fuck that. If the city wants to come tell me I need a permit,
Yep.
I'll worry about a permit at that point. Why? I'm having hens. They're not going to be up, making all kinds of racket in the morning.
Right.
Why? Why can't we have over half acre in the city.
Yep.
You've been to our house, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, we have huge yard.
Oh yeah.
Why can I not have chickens?
100%.
Screw you, I'm having chickens.
Yep.
Yeah, because my coworker, Brooke, I think you've met Brooke. Her
Yeah,
neighbor
yeah.
has like 8 chickens,
Yeah.
and they live right off of Birch Street.
They have a 0.2 acre lot and they have 8 chickens.
Yeah.
Give a fuck, dude.
Yeah.
0.55, so yeah, we got to...
Hell yeah. You should probably get about 16 of those guys.
We're
out
getting
there.
5, because that's
Nice.
supposed to be the rule, but...
Sure.
Yeah, I was wondering because I thought it was I thought it was 3.
So tell the story of the in Switzerland, the 3.
Oh, that one. I did figure out what was the actual country.
It
Weren't they
wasn't
giving chickens to every resident?
Yeah, there was like a
so-
city in some European country that
Yeah.
they offered 3 chickens to everyone in the city,
Yep.
and about a third of the population took them.
No, 2/3 of the population took them. More people than not took them.
Yeah, and they're just food waste and
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff going to the dump went down by half.
Yep.
Obviously the price of I think it was a lot of different foods went down actually.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The net positive to the economy, even though the farms weren't doing the producing of the eggs near as much, they only had to produce 1/3 the amount of eggs. The amount the city saved on waste was up so high that it was a net positive for the saving of the. Not to mention, obviously, the people with the fucking chicken are saving money.
Yeah.
They're getting their eggs. They're feeding their scrap food to the chickens. They're cleaning it up. It's just a beautiful cycle of life.
Right, and as soon as the egg cycle drops, you have some meat. If they're a good
Oh, yeah.
multi-purpose
Absolutely.
bird. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It just blew my mind that just their waste in general went down. All waste went down.
not only that, I grew up with chickens, pigs. I think that's really it as a kid.
Mhm.
But you could definitely, that is a great thing for a child to have that responsibility to take care of. There's no reason. Told the kids we were doing that, and of course they saw little chicks. Oh, they're so cute. I was like, yeah, they'll be on our dinner plate at some point.
Yeah, dude.
Macy was like, Dad, they're too cute. We can't. Yeah, that's just the cycle. That's
There'll
what
probably be
happens.
one that you hate that you'll be happy to eat of that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we did that too. Cause we growing up, we had chickens and we had pigs. We had some ducks.
Did you get the cow after you graduated?
Yeah, after I graduated, my dad bought a cow. Weirdo. He bought a cow to slaughter for meat, and it ended up being a sow. So the guy that sold the steer, the male cow, to my dad, been a farmer his whole life. He's like, yeah, and my dad called him and was like, hey, the cow's name was Jason. Jason's got udders. And he's like, what the fuck? And so they go over there shit, Jason's pregnant.
Oh,
and so
whoops.
then Jason had Daisy, and then I think they slaughtered Jason still. And then,
Imagine the trauma you caused by calling that cow Jason.
bro, Jason was so offended. Jason tasted good. And
I
then,
like how you didn't even use Jason to milk, right?
no, they did.
Oh, for a little while.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yep.
I just only met Daisy, so
Gosh, the trauma.
yeah.
Trauma, man. But so yeah, but growing up, as soon as Kyle and I were old enough, we took care of the chickens, we took care of the pigs, and then like throughout the year we would kill roosters. So we, chop their head off, all that good shit. And
watch them run around with no head.
We hang them up.
Oh.
So we tie them up by their feet, cut their head off,
Let
and
the
then they
blood
just
drain.
flop around. Yep. And then we would get all the fucking feathers off, and then we would put them on a rotisserie and make some rotisserie chicken.
Dude, I love your aunts and uncles that like throw roosters at each other. So like lots of Sean's aunts and uncles have chickens up there.
Yeah.
So they fucking every time they like get a batch of chicks or whatever, and
Yeah.
sometimes they get some roosters in there. So then they'll like just pass off the rooster to the next.
They'll like in the night or like whatever, they'll drive by and they'll like throw it into the pen of like one of the other family members, and they'll be like, how the hell did I come home and I got 2 extra roosters? And they're like, that's really random. How crazy is that? So stupid.
That's hilarious.
But I think like you were saying, that is such good things for kids to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The discipline growing up with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And responsibility and stuff is really good. And they see life cycle. That's important.
Yeah.
Get some pigs next, dude.
No. Right in the city, can you imagine that?
Oh my God, that'd be bad.
That's something we've talked about. Probably a 3 to 5 year plan of being out of the shithole city of Eau Claire.
Yeah. Yep.
See, you can pick up a move. Telling you.
Where are you heading, bro?
I don't know. Probably within 15 to 20 minutes of everything. But
Boom, babe.
Fine.
so we don't need, I don't need 40 acres.
Right.
But I like at least 5, which is getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To even think about now, living in the city, it's still a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive to get to Woodman's or, anywhere else. So,
Yeah.
but assuming the kids would want a dirt bike sometime or something like that, we'd be able to rip around and
Yeah.
shoot guns, whatever else we want without having to worry about next door neighbor. Obviously
Right.
not shooting guns in the city, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a couple places in Cadott Sam and I are interested in getting down the line. And it's about a 25-minute drive to town, to the center of town.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like most places it's 10 minutes anyways, so you're adding 15 minutes, but you get one of the places we know the owners of and we talked to, it's like 80 acres, and the other one's like 70 acres. And so it's like, dude, live on 80 or 70 acres, fuck, maybe we try and get them up both, 150, why not? But then to like have that serenity and that like your own spot, you can have your chickens, you can have your pigs, you can have some fucking goats or cows, no one's gonna say shit, dude.
Right.
And then you just
You don't worry about your taxes being jacked up at an
Right.
ungodly rate.
right, you have a well, so you're not drinking fluoride.
Right.
Fucking,
Oh, and estrogen. Did you hear that latest one?
I'm not surprised, dude.
Because of the hormonal birth control, the pills.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, women are excreting that
Right.
estrogen, and then it goes to a water treatment plant, which can't take out the estrogen.
Jesus fuck, dude.
You know, I always get labeled as like, especially my in-laws and stuff, right? Because I get pissed, literally pissed when the kids have non-filtered water.
Yeah.
It's just, no, we got water. Or they'll
Yeah.
give them bottled water, which I'm like, what's the standard for that bottled water? There is nothing.
Nothing.
Probably came out of a tap, freaking,
Yep. And then
And
they
it's-
charge,
right.
$2 for that bottle.
That's
of
how
water.
long it's been sitting in that plastic. Who knows how much of that's,
Right, yeah.
whatever, leached into the water supply.
Yep.
And you can tell they just get annoyed. I'm like, how are you that blind to the
Right.
shit that's in our water supplies? Like our food, everything.
Everything.
How can you not?
Right.
Like Macy, she's only 5. Grandma makes great food. Like, yeah, it might taste good, but it ain't good.
It ain't good for you, dude. That's something Sam and I are fucking huge on. Is like, what are we eating? Like, what's the shit that's in it? Like, most shit, dude, if there's more than 5 ingredients, you ain't in a good spot.
Right.
You need to find something, like, healthier, more natural.
Right.
And we were really happy to find out we go to Covisa, a pizza joint in Banbury. We'll have to go next week.
Oh, it's so good.
But I was talking to the guy there yesterday, and he's like, everything's made in house. Everything's homemade. He's like, we don't fucking skimp on nothing. He's like, nothing in here is like processed. We make our own homemade dough. They shred their own mozzarella cheese. They get like real pepperoni. It's not like the fake pepperoni in the fucking. It's real pepperoni, and then it's they make their own marinara sauce, and it's for like their pepperoni pizza. So I'm like, do you telling me this fucking thing is like a homemade, good for you slice of brick oven pizza? And it's like
Even their vegan stuff.
even all their vegan shit,
They all make in house.
everything made in house. And it's like, dude, that right there is like very few places you can go and eat something that in today's standard is unhealthy and it be healthy.
Right.
You know, because essentially you're talking about homemade bread, you're talking about homemade marinara sauce, mozzarella cheese, which is like one of the best cheese, and then fucking real pepperoni. Like, dude, where you get, like, that's all real good food, and they put it on what should be like an unhealthy thing, a piece of pizza, and it's fucking like healthy and delicious. Is that when I was talking to them, I was like, dude, you guys like sold me so much more on like supporting you in this shit, because I know I'm not coming to a Toppers, you know, or whatever it is, a Domino's. And you know what? I never feel like shit leaving there. Mm-mm. Like when I go smack a couple slices of fucking Little Caesars, you know you smack down some Little Caesars, dude.
Yeah.
But you eat Covisa, dude, you go back to work, you feel just as good as if I would have ate some beef and rice.
Yeah. Unless if you eat too much pizza, then you feel like shit.
Well, I feel
like
that way
too full.
If I eat too much beef and rice. I feel that way too.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that place.
Sam, did I hear you talking about vegan?
Did you hear me talk about vegan?
Yeah.
I don't eat it, but I'm just
Okay.
saying, like, they do make their own vegan stuff there, which I thought that was.
Can we go down that
vegan
tangent for like 2 seconds?
I would love to.
Dude, vegans.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
Vegans and vegetarians, right? I have no issue with that.
Yep.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'll just say a relative. Vegan, vegetarian, kind of switch back and forth, right? Now, introducing some meats, whatever. But when you have children,
Oh, no.
and you're forcing that without supplementation, what the hell are you doing?
No.
And
Didn't
it's one of those people that you cannot talk to.
No.
Like you wouldn't be able to give this person any type of like pointers, like, hey, you know, cool if that's what you want to do, but you should look at supplementation because you're missing so many micronutrients.
100%.
I think there was like a Canadian couple that like killed their 2-year-old by trying to make him vegan.
Just malnourished.
Yeah, it was malnourished. Like,
Well,
it's crazy.
it's just insane.
We knew a vegetarian, and we were out and about, and the place we were at didn't have any vegetarian options. What they got was bread, like just so instead of getting the burger, they got just the buns and fries, and that's what they ate for their meal. And I'm just like, do you understand that slice of chicken or that patty has nutrients and protein to fuel your having ass?
Right.
And they're just like, oh, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm going to eat white bread and fucking deep fried
Potatoes.
or fried potatoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, right on, champ.
But again, like if people want to do that, it's fine. I like to ask the reason why. Well, you know, the killing of animals, like whatever. It's like, okay, if you look at the whole life cycle of anything, how much just died to provide that potato? What just died to provide your bread? Like, look at it, and a lot of people look at it like, so I was listening to a podcast, they're talking about that. So you really look at it, a cow, you're taking one life, essentially, right? Yeah. What does that provide?
A lot.
Like the caloric intake, the kilocalories that's provided by a
Holy
cow, as
fuck.
opposed to like this, you know, you could look at it as a slaughter of all those bugs and microorganisms from the potato, whatever else, right?
Oh, you
So
don't
it's
know.
like,
I think like soy is like one of the biggest like vegetables that kills the most animals.
not only that, but oof,
Because
soy, that is holy
But yeah, like
shoot.
what soybeans or whatever is that? What?
when you're talking about farming, and I don't think a lot of people understand this for agriculture, when you're farming and you go through all your pesticides are killing all the fucking bugs.
Yeah, it's kind of in the name, right?
Yeah, pesticide, right. It kills all the bugs. And so then this is like crop damage. So we grew up next to farms and stuff, and they would get crop damage tags, and we would go shoot deer out of hunting season because the deer were damaging the crops. But they were also allowed to shoot turkeys. They were allowed to shoot coyotes. They were,
Right.
anything that's eating their crops, they can get a tag to harvest that. To not have that. So now you're talking to make these crops, we're killing all of these animals. And then not to mention, when you go to farm those fields, the amount of fucking
Rabbits,
calves,
moles.
rabbits, squirrels, everything gets fucking right up in the fucking combine, whatever, done, dead.
Oh, I suppose there's probably like lots of Oh, that's not usually when deer have babies, right? They usually have them in the winter or something.
No,
Or do they have them in the fall?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's
they
like
have-
pretty soon here.
Oh.
yeah,
They'll start dropping.
It's like
Spring.
early.
It's a spring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that way they're old enough by fall and winter to survive the
Yeah,
winter.
that makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, dude, a lot of them like they're bed down during the day. You're farming during the day. They don't get up in time. They don't hear you. Whatever.
Yeah.
How many you killed? And I talked to so many farmers. They're like, oh, the amount of animals that die for us to harvest these crops is insane.
That's crazy.
Right.
Or you could kill a cow.
Right.
Yeah, how much easier is it to keep alive a cow versus...
Especially if that cow's
plants?
going through, more of a free range cow where it's literally cycling pastures, utilizing grass like it's really supposed to,
Absolutely.
not just the food lot
Yep.
cow, which
100%.
is kind of what we try to do. But
I will say this, and I grew up this way. Pasture-fed, grass-fed beef that are finished off in the last month of living with grain. I don't care, dude. That's
Yeah,
the best
that's-
taste of meat you'll fucking get.
that's what a lot of people do. They just finish off the grain just to help that a little
Sweetens
fatten
it
them
up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Oh, man. I like people that like plain grass-fed meat. Ooh, I struggle eating it.
Shaun, when do we get you out hunting?
That's a good question, man.
Hey, you went last year.
I did.
Oh, that's right. You got that little chunk of
Yeah.
land.
Yeah.
Speaking of the person we met at Coffee,
Yes.
he has land that he would like people to hunt. So
Oh, really?
we'll have to talk about that later.
That's super cool. Meeting went good with him?
yeah, really good. Yeah,
Good,
he's
good.
I think he wants to get back to real estate here. I guess.
Yeah.
I think he wants to be more hands off.
Yeah.
So like we were talking, we ran through a bunch of numbers on stuff that sold recently, and went through the old Carl's mortgage calculator. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Good
Mhm.
tool to use. So ran through everything with him that sold recently. He's like, jeepers, like numbers just aren't there. I said, that's why you need to be a little more creative with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, why don't you just let me know what you have for deals coming up, or if you know of anyone that had deals coming up. I think he wants to just put his money towards it and not have the headache of it.
Dude, and that, I really appreciate when someone can understand that, because that man can earn money in a way you and I and so many others can't earn.
Right.
Don't earn. Like, that dude is at the top of corporate. The top fucking...
But even listen to this though. Even with him being at the top of corporate, what did he keep talking about being at the top of corporate?
He even maxing out 401k and
Well,
shit.
that, but then also how many people he's seen walked out of the business.
Yes.
Let's make sure we don't cover the business, but
Right. Mhm.
walked out of the business that he is in
Yep.
out of nowhere, like no heads up, no warnings, anything. He's at the top of the business, like you're saying. He has no idea it's happening, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's part of his reasoning for wanting to get
Yeah.
into real estate, because the corporate world, man, you're on a chopping block, right?
100%.
Constantly.
Bro, you
And
know
even-
who's... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Even look at like pensions, right? Everyone looks at, oh, my pension.
Bro.
Let's look at the auto industry.
Dude.
How many of those poor bastards thought they had life made? What happened to their pension? Completely wiped out or greatly reduced. So now they can't even live off of it. Like, your pension is not guaranteed. I think government pensions, utility pensions, probably your safest pensions.
Safest, but they ain't guaranteed, dude.
Right.
Because look at our government, and you're telling me, say, someone in their 40s, they're working for their pension. Dude, you're telling me we got to keep a somewhat stable government for 20, 25 more years because they keep raising the
Well, that's
age
just
of
to
when
get
you
it.
can bowl. That's just to start pulling, just
Right.
to start drawing.
Yeah.
And so, like, dude, you're playing with you're playing with fire, thinking that our government or that business you're with, just for you, if you're like 45, just to start pulling at 65, that shit's got to remain stable for 20 years just so you can start pulling. Not to mention, now it's got to remain stable for another 30 years so you can keep pulling through retirement.
Yeah.
Right, and hopefully support inflation and everything else that's happening. So,
Man.
Obviously my wife's in the education system,
Yeah.
which there are some good middle of the road conservatives in education, no matter what people think.
Oh, yeah.
I think there are, but seems kind of few and far between. But anyways, even with that, when she started teaching, they don't make great money.
Right.
But what do they look at? When I retire, man, yep, when you retire again, assuming that whole thing isn't turned into a complete shit show and wiped out.
Right.
Again, no guarantee.
None.
You don't know.
Zero.
So.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens with school systems. I've known so many people who become teachers and within 5 years they quit.
Mm-hmm. It's a hard profession. There's no way I could do it. For one, there's no accountability, right?
Yeah, zero.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that shit.
Also,
Unions, bro. Unions don't have accountability.
Yeah.
Right. I think unions had a time and a place, but yeah, I worked union, UPS.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all inner workings, man. You'd file a complaint, and I was a union rep, right? So I would file complaints, and it'd work its way up to the union. You'd never hear back. All that's just a big inner workings. The old freaking center manager, he was buddy with the union steward. You would never hear shit back. It's just kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Sit there and pay your union dues, and someone is collecting it and living off of it. But
Right.
as far as being truly represented, come contract time, they'd, just any politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came time to union negotiations, and they were doing this and doing that for you, which, yeah, they weren't.
Well, and how come people in the union got to go on strike every year?
Right.
Just like politics.
Right.
Got to go on strike every year. You kidding me? We can't figure this shit out? Guess who doesn't go on strike every year? Any of us. I never went on strike before.
Right.
And I don't got to worry about getting taken off the chopping block.
Right.
I got to go into work Monday worrying if I got a job or not.
But, so say, even if that happened, right? Say you lost everything into investing.
Mm-hmm.
You probably still have enough skills to go make money tomorrow.
Oh, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Easily.
That's
Right.
one thing we've talked about is if we get fired today or for some reason Shaun can't flip houses, very quickly we could figure out what we're going to do tomorrow to make money.
I know multiple people I could call and start work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. Or start your own thing.
Oh, dude. Easy. Bro. Easy.
Right.
Easy.
Yeah.
So that's the power of being self-sufficient, so to speak. And, maybe, everyone talks about being ultra-focused. I get being ultra-focused. But when you're well-rounded,
Oh, yeah.
look how many more doors are open for you.
Yeah.
Like if you can go hang sheetrock, if you can go finish off mud, if you can go tile, if you can do any of those trades, you could go find a job tomorrow if everything wiped out today.
That's a solid point.
Well, look at all these social media managers or whatever that all these big companies are now laying off. What are they going to go do?
I bet they ain't going to be
Right.
fucking drywalling, I can tell you that much.
Yeah. They're going to have to go be a cashier somewhere, making half the money that they are because they pushed wages up so much these past couple of years.
No, they won't. They won't go get it. No, they won't do that.
There's-
They'll live off the system,
That's so
waiting
true,
for a
yeah.
job that's just right for them. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Did you see
Such shit.
all these big companies just laid off a whole bunch of people? Disney laid off 7,000 employees. Indeed laid off 2,200 employees. Some other big ones.
Yeah, the mortgage industry has definitely dealt with that too, because refinancing obviously isn't happening anymore with the rates being where they are. So you've had a lot of the bigger companies, Redfin, a lot of those other ones too for the real estate side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the big corporate stuff.
So you guys know, let's see, founder, contrarian thinking, master. Okay, so obviously we all listen to Andy Frisella, Real AF, and that's been my number one listened to podcast, and I've been in the top 1% of 1% of fucking listeners for the last 3 years, 2 or 3 years, right? And I'm very proud of that.
Fanboy.
Do it big. So anyways, he had Cody Sanchez on this week, and I've been following Cody Sanchez, her business page. I've been following for fucking year and a half, 2 years, and she's all about unconventional acquisitions. And she talks about like buying businesses, boring businesses make money. She has a better way of saying it, right? But that's exactly what you just said. She talks about how many plumbers, how many HVAC, how many contractors are retiring and nobody wants to take over their business, yet they fucking bring in over $1 million a year. And so an average Joe, say, because you were in roofing for a while, right? So say you were a roofer and a roofing business goes up for sale. Well, you have the skills. If you're well-rounded and you had a couple management classes or whatever, or you went and maybe you were the foreman, done deal. You were the foreman of a roofing crew. You see that there's a business for sale in roofing. You go over there, and unconventional acquisitions, she talks a lot about like seller financing and creative financing. So you finance that business. You've got management skills because you're a foreman. You know how to roof because you're a roofer. Now you own a roofing company making probably 4x what you were just making as a foreman day one of starting the business. Once you get that paid down and you pay off your loan to them, dude, now you're making what, 10x? And if you take what you know as being a smart fucking guy with social media and like marketing, well, now you can plug in. They don't have marketing systems. Maybe they don't take credit cards. Maybe they just do everything checks. So now you can implement that shit. Maybe you can partner with a place to do loans, a financing agency to do loans for them. And all of a sudden, dude, you take this business that was maybe a $1-2 million a year in revenue, you take it over, you run it, and you can turn this thing into $5 million in revenue a year, and it's your shit, dude.
Right.
And you're doing all this, and you want to know what would have happened to that business if you went about it? They just shut down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down.
So, case in point was the bathtub refinishing business,
100%.
Right? So, same thing. I know you guys worked with them in the past. We've worked with them in the past. Same thing. Guy stepping away. He had someone working in the business with him that knew the business, but he was traveling an hour every day, roughly an hour every day to work in the business. But he had, I just hate to say it, but the kid had no drive. Mm-hmm. Like, you literally could have acquired a business. Mm-hmm. And then the previous owner he's back to owning it again, but he was taking 6 figures out of it every year to live off of. Mm-hmm. Worked in the business probably 3 hours a day, he said, just to get stuff lined up. And that kid could have went into that role, trained someone to run the business, but he just decided, nah, it's too much work. I'm like, what are you doing? So then, the guy reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to buy it. Well, could have tried, but then I had enough stuff going on. So that's why I reached out to you guys, see if you guys had interest. But again, you need to know when to say, got too much shit going on.
Yeah.
But that right there, like, you're working in the business, making 30, 40, maybe 50,000 a year. I'm not sure what the kid made. You could have doubled your income.
Yeah.
And ran the business.
How many
100%.
bathtub refinishing companies are there in Eau Claire?
There's actually quite a few.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's quite a handful of them.
Damn, didn't know that.
Yeah, but this one, he's at all the home shows.
Yep.
He has repeat business. He's did the YMCA in Eau Claire, the YMCA in Chippewa.
Dang.
Went all the way down La Crosse, did a huge hotel.
And the thing is with that, like, because Kyle and I are doing some units right now, and all the tubs need refinishing. And we're just like, we literally yesterday were like, fuck, dude, maybe we should have bought that goddamn business.
Yeah, I think you still could.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because he reached out to me 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
He had a new kid working in it, but the kid doesn't have any interest in taking it over again.
Well, kind of what I was thinking with it, just like I thought about it for real short yesterday when we were there, and I was just like, dude, Kyle and I could use a helper anyways for construction. And so if we have a helper for like normal construction, we can just have our marketing out and word of mouth for refinishing. And when we have refinishing jobs, send that guy on those jobs. Right. When he doesn't have jobs, you're back on the site with us, doing work. Like,
just do all block scheduling, so literally you can smash out X amount of jobs in 3 days straight, and then you're probably off for a few days.
Yeah, if you want to be out for a few days. Otherwise, you can come work and do fucking construction and work some more.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of, after listening to, because so I talked to Sam about this. So, like, for our first 100 episodes, I talked a lot about, like, I think more people should be self-employed. I think more people should own small businesses, and less people should be, like, reliant on bosses and, like, other businesses, corporations, things like that. Because 300 years ago, 85% of the population was self-employed.
Right.
Okay, so it's possible. You don't have to be type A person to own a business. And so I talked a lot about that. But then I went down the rabbit hole way, way, way too much about singular focus, singular focus, singular focus. And I was really trying to live that singular focus life, which we know
You can't do.
I ain't ever singular focus.
Right.
And
So
so
I think we both have that crammed down our throat, though, right? Like, you gotta focus.
100%.
I think if you time block properly, there's no reason you cannot singularly focus on 10 different things.
Right.
Absolutely.
But it's a matter of, again, blocking that time off to where you are focused on that one thing and that one thing only
Right.
for that time block.
Yes.
But that's what happened. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
If you put the right people in place, like, you're fine. It'll be great.
So yeah, so how that works is like it's like delineated control or whatever. You as like a person, you can actually only oversee 6 things or 6 people. That's like your threshold for most people is 6. It's like 4 is the sweet spot, 6 is like the maximum. And so that would be like, okay, we could technically have 6 businesses with 6 managers. That we just meet up with each manager of the 6 businesses and could still like fully run those 6 businesses, which is pretty like massive. So here I was like thinking for the last fucking 2 years, or the last full year, this whatever, of like singular focus, singular focus, singular focus. And I listened to Cody, even though I watch her on fucking Instagram all the time. I watched it and I was like, dude, that's so, she said something like, there are very few people like Andy Frisella and Alex Hermosi who can singular attack one thing all out. There's so few people who like have that bandwidth that a lot of people can just be like good operators, and they could have one business that they operate, or they could have multiple businesses they oversee and operate, and like sure, most likely none of them are going to be as big as fucking Andy Frisella or Alex Hermosi. But, like, dude, you're a lot better than if you just singular focus on your 9 to 5.
Right.
And I was really happy to hear that yesterday and, like, fucking tune my brain to, like, what I truly believed in before I went down a massive rabbit hole of, like, singular focus.
Yeah. I'm terrible with that. Like, my wife always rips on me because I really can't have a hobby without thinking, how can it profit?
Right.
You know, that's not in a greedy sense, but even with my drone, you know, years ago when I got my first drone, oh man, how can I make money doing this?
Yeah.
Want to create an Instagram channel and do all kinds of outdoor photography and
Right.
everything. My son wants a 3D printer, so instead of being locked in front of a stupid ass Xbox or Switch all the time, we thought about buying him a $300 printer. And he wants to create robots. So his thing was, Dad, can I print robots? I was like, well, you can print a robot, but it's not going to move. Or you can print individual parts and build robots.
Yeah.
So then we started chasing that rabbit hole. Dude, you can make robots with like the Raspberry Pi boards and stuff.
Sure.
That'll sense movement. Like all kinds of shit.
Damn.
So I was like, could he build those and sell them? So I asked him if
Right.
he would be interested in that. So yeah, he just wants to do that. So I'm like,
That's cool.
let his little entrepreneurial brain go if he wants.
Right.
What's $300 if it doesn't work?
Absolutely. At
Right.
least you tried.
Waste it on a stupid ass Switch or whatever else instead.
yeah.
Like,
Right. Well, valuable skills to be learning, because he's like learning how to problem solve and also how to like be resourceful,
right.
and which is like, and creative, right? In like ways where most people would just be like mind numbing playing the Switch. Instead, little man's thinking, how do I fucking make a few bucks, right? Which is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, because he gets sick of sticking labels on damn envelopes, that $10 or sorry,
Yeah.
10 cents a piece. He doesn't.
Absolutely.
It's not very fun for him, but he still does it. So
Right.
for our marketing, we have the kids do envelopes,
Mm-hmm.
stuff envelopes, and put stickers on them. But I think the 3D printer would be a little more fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
No, that'd be cool. And it's his own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something to call his own. That's cool. What else you got, Sam?
I had a thought and then I got very distracted. I don't know.
Dang.
Yeah, I think not having your focus on one thing would be best because, like, you've always said your favorite thing is starting new businesses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the difference between starting a new business and buying a business and seeing where you can take it?
Right.
And
yeah.
then you can learn about, like, doing what Mike Finger taught us about making a business sellable and also selling businesses. And
Right. Which I do think I would like the purchasing of a business more than the starting of a business because I've now started a couple businesses. But like buying a business, like I've gone into companies that are running. I did that for a year. I went into a company that was already running and I like managed it and stuff. If you do that route, you already have a name, you have revenue, and you have team. Now, maybe you got to cut some of the fat in the team. Maybe you got to rebrand or do something to boost your name, or you got to market online, whatever it is. But it's already like a solidified business going, and you don't have to worry about when you start a business. You almost have to like learn all the roles to train people into those roles, to pass those roles off, to keep going up the chain. Where if you buy a business, you have all that shit. You just got to manage it better and like build the culture. And then you have a good operating system.
Right, and I think, like you were saying too, figuring out time when to make switches where, right? Because obviously you're gonna, like you said, revamp the business because obviously you're trying to add value.
Right.
But then you have that time too of, okay, it's operating the way it is. I bought it at the operating process, at the operating point, right? And it still makes money, but now you can go through and how can I make more?
Right. Exactly.
it's so much easier to make those changes once you're already getting income.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
'Cause, I mean, yeah, how long, there's like, with the home improvement company, it took a while to like feel like we're finally ahead and not trying to catch up on money.
Bro, I'm still
And, like,
catching up.
oh, I love
I'm
it.
still fucking catching up.
The stable living was a lot worse with you and Ryan not getting paid for like 2 years.
Oh, yeah, dude. People really don't understand that at all. Like, Ryan and I didn't get paid for 2 years. We just fucking worked every goddamn day, all day long for 2 years, making shit.
Living
to,
off of your girlfriends.
Fuck yeah. And to then, like, start making some money. But it's so funny, dude. I was talking to someone who started their own business. And they're like, well, when do I start profiting? I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe like 3 to 5 years from now. They're like, what do you mean I'm bleeding cash? Like, I'm losing money. I was like, yeah, that's the game, dude.
That
like,
should have been in your business plan.
yeah. I was like, literally, I explained how, like, Ryan and I started out. For the first 6 months of our business, we took turns working 24-hour shifts. We did that for 6 months. And we got paid $500 a month each. And then at the end of that 6 months, we continued working the same thing, alternating 24-hour shifts, didn't we?
Yeah, I think
But we
added a weekend person.
We added a weekend person.
Yep, so you didn't have to do
then
weekends.
Ryan and I would do
throughout the week.
one of us would work 3 days, the other would work 2 days, and then we'd add a weekend staff. And we did that for another 6 months, alternating 24-hour shifts. And we still made the same amount of money, $500 every fucking...
So you're just putting money back into the business, or it just wasn't making money at that point?
It wasn't making money. We were bringing revenue, but like at that point, dude, I like maxed out credit cards. We took pretty much all our money from savings. You know, all that shit was already deployed.
But yeah, I mean, you had to pay for all the expenses to run the business.
Yeah.
And that took up a lot of the money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so then, thankfully, him and I were willing to sacrifice an ungodly amount of time so that if we broke down what we got paid hourly, I don't know, maybe like $1 or $2 an hour we got paid.
Maybe, yeah.
And but so we had the luxury of having girlfriends who could pay the rent. Otherwise, we were fucked.
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no way we were getting rent. And so we did that for a year, opened up another location. And then at that point, we were able to start making $750 a month. And we were able to do that for the next year. We made $750 a month for the next year.
But there was times where like they couldn't cash their checks. Like they were like, we have to wait till we get paid. So
Dude, there was multiple times in the first 2 years where we couldn't cash our checks. We had to ask our key staff, our main staff, if they could not cash their check for a week or two because we didn't have any money. We were out. Nothing we could do. And
getting paid by the state was very sporadic.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. The state, sometimes we'd get paid in 30 days. Sometimes it'd be 75, and it was like, this really fucks us up.
Yeah.
And there's times when, not only were Ryan and I not cashing our checks, we were somehow we still save money. Like, we were saving money, even though we were making $1 an hour. We were still saving money to drop back in so that we had reserves to drop back into the business when we didn't get paid, so we could still pay most of our staff. And so Ryan and I are like, out of money. I guess we're using a credit card to survive the next month. Whatever, dude. Like, it's life.
And at that point, did you have like a role that the state owed you?
Yeah. So we had a rent.
So you knew you had.
Yeah.
You knew you had something coming at some point.
Yep. So
He was just waiting for the day for that money to come.
Yeah. Yep. And so like in the process, dude, the process from when Ryan and I started to where Ryan's at now and where I exited the company at, I had to submit a paper submission. I had to mail it in. So we'd have to provide 30 days of service, a full month service, and then I could mail this in, right? And then while this was mailed in, you wouldn't hear from them for like 1 to 2 weeks. And then if you'd reach that like 10-day mark, you're like, why the fuck haven't I heard back? So you'd call them and be like, hey, have you received this? Oh, yeah, sir, you didn't do this right. And it'd be like, because there was a code, and the code was like new client, current client, done with the client, right? And so it'd be like, oh, sir, you used the wrong code. And it's like, are you shitting me? Or it'd be like, oh, sir, you put 2018, or you put 2017, it's now 2018. And I'm like, you couldn't fucking call me, dude? Like, it's been 45 days. You couldn't call me and tell me I put the wrong fucking year? And so then...
it's supposed to be 45 cents, not 49 cents. And
yeah.
They're like, well, that is a 5. And they're like, no, it looks like a 9.
Yeah, because you write it all in by hand. And so, dude, but now, like, so that whole shit, dude, now it's like you submit it online every 2 weeks. You get a fucking...
confirmation.
A confirmation. I'm pretty sure it's direct deposit into the account. No, we were still checks.
Yeah, you were still getting paper checks.
We were still getting checks, yep. But, like, it went from, like, this... what could, like, anywhere from like a 45-day process down to like 8 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, like, dude, exiting that, I was like, man, dude, because you just knew, like, when you submitted that, after your 14 days, you submitted that, within 8 days, you're getting a check.
Right.
And where it was like, provide 30 days of service and then pray to God you get paid within 15 days. And sometimes it would take up to 45 days to get paid after you just did 30 days of service. But so, to just like wrap that up, we didn't really start making any money until year 3. And I think at year 3, so I worked a full-time job. Year 3, we had enough staff where I could work a full-time job to cover my living. And so I worked as a manager full-time. And then I think Ryan and I think we got a $30,000 salary a year, or $40,000 salary a year.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And so come year 3, we were making like 30-40 grand off the business, but then I went and worked full time so I could make more money, so I could go make another 40 grand a year. And you know what we did with all that money? Poured it all right back in the fucking business to grow it, to open up more homes, to buy houses so we could fill them, you know? And so, I mean, really, we didn't make any sort of money for 4 years.
Did you guys do anything creative when you were doing that, or not really?
Nah, we didn't know shit back then. Well, that's a lie. Our first property we rented from my mom and my dad. We rented that from my mom and dad. And then we did a land contract with them. And so the first property, we did a land contract with them. Then the second house we got, we couldn't afford to buy a house, nor would anyone give us a loan. And so Ryan and I rented from his uncle a duplex. He let us cut out the wall and put up a header and like open up this duplex into a single family. So that was pretty creative that he rented that to us. They still rent that building. Mm-hmm. The third building, once again, couldn't get a loan, couldn't do anything. So we actually, one of the staff that was working for us bought the house and we rented it from them. The fourth house was the first time we ever were approved for a loan and were able to buy a house.
So you did nothing but creative for the
Everything was creative, AJ. Thanks, brother.
I love it.
Yeah. At the time, dude, like I guess it didn't even seem creative because we had no option.
Yeah.
We went to so many banks and they're all like, you can't get a fucking loan.
So that's the problem sometimes with cash, right? If you have the cash, it's just easier to spend. It doesn't force creativity.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you're
for
struggling,
sure.
You know, when you're cash strapped, it forces you to think outside the box a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like I was talking to the guy we just met at coffee, right? And he was talking about, well, do I use all my cash? Do I do this or that? I was like, I would never use my own cash. I don't want to be units rich and cash poor.
Right, 100%.
Much rather be cash rich.
Yeah. Well, I think the fourth house, I think you two spent pretty much all the money you had saved.
Everything we had saved to buy that fourth house.
And
you want to know what? We couldn't even make it into a group home. Oh, we did. I'm sorry. We didn't make it into the standard group home. We made it into a 1 to 2 bed.
Yeah.
Certified home. That's right.
Yep. Because I mean, the one client, you got more money than you did with 4 clients.
Yeah. And that's when we broke into like
he was a disaster.
Full behavioral mental health. Like that was, we opened that door, dove headfirst into like, you got the worst behavioral client. We're the ones that take it.
How much did you have to deal with that on your own, or was it all staff?
At that point, a lot of it was staff, but we still had to deal with setting up all programming, all paperwork. We had to deal with all behaviors, all incident reporting, and then let's see, we were still at that point doing overnights. Ryan and I still alternated overnights at that point.
With Home 4?
We didn't do it in Home 4, but we were still doing it down at Home 1 because we didn't stop alternating overnights until year 4 in the business. And Home 4 was year 3. Middle of year 3.
I don't think you did them anymore. Ryan still did them. Okay. And that's when we made him stop. Because we're like, staff need the hours.
Once we opened Group Home 4, we quit. Yeah. Okay, yep. So up until the 4th house, we were still doing overnights. And then the 4th house, we quit doing overnights because then we were on call all the time. Mm-hmm. We alternated being on call.
Yeah, because I started before Home 4.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because then Sam came in, and then Sam helped us systemize a lot of shit. That's when we got because we only had one manager for one home. And then Sam came in and was like, why don't you have a manager in every home? And Ryan and I are like, I don't know. Didn't think they're smart enough. And then we got all home managers. And then within 6 months, Ryan and I went from being on call every other weekend to
never.
And so we're like, wait a second, what the fuck just happened? And so that's when it truly started being more of a business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun. That was a lot of fun, dude. That's so true though about the creative thing. When you don't we didn't have enough money to open the business. You need $15,000 to open the business. So Ryan's family gave us enough cash to put in our bank account to show we could do it. Mm-hmm. And we started, and we had to give that cash back the day after we submitted our statement. And then we just went for it.
That's awesome.
So that shit was fun, dude. But yeah,
you can only do it the way you guys did it, because it was when they were both 20 and 21.
Had nothing, dude. Didn't have nothing.
No, they were just going to college, but they both were in the military, so then they were able to have that paid for.
Yeah.
And then I guess the only thing you guys had to figure out was when you both had drill.
Yeah.
They were pretty lenient with giving you.
They were super good with that.
Yeah.
They were super good with that. Ryan and I pretty much started alternating, going to drills and stuff.
Oh, really?
For 6 months, yeah.
Because then they could just do makeup drills after that.
Yeah. They became really good. With that. Ryan and I didn't have to go down to some of
annual?
our. Yeah, we didn't have to go to annual and stuff. We did fuck, I don't know. Once we started the businesses, I never went to another annual.
No, you didn't. Because you like told me about them, but then you never had to.
Yeah. It was pretty sick, dude. And we just make them up at whatever. And they were super good with that because they knew that Ryan and I weren't re-enlisting. And so we ended up I didn't have to go to my last 2 annual trainings. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I was very appreciative of it.
Yeah. Well, and it worked out really good because it's like, who the fuck's going to run the business for 2 weeks when we're gone? This bitch just started it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
Yeah, because Eva and I were also both still in college. Eva might have just graduated No, I think we were both still in college. We both had full-time jobs. So there's no way Eva and I could have done it.
No. Neat world anyways, fucking moving along here. It was starting a business compared to buying a business. Massive difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. And so I would be pretty open to buying business.
Well, tub refinancing business?
Maybe. I think I might consider it now.
He asked me about that too, as far as with you guys. And I just said I didn't know. Didn't think you'd want to. But like you said, you already literally would take training someone how to paint, right? Because obviously the chemicals which he has all the access to.
Yeah.
You're literally buying, like you said, buying a business. And there's obviously some improvements you can make there.
Oh, for sure, dude. Honestly, I think something big that a lot of people don't think about is if we could even have a staff, because even with growing with the group homes, and we got Brooke working for us now, part-time, but did I say group? Yeah, growing like the flipping company.
There you go.
Sorry, my bad. What the fuck? You have me on the wrong shit. So growing with the flipping company and property management, having someone who can answer a phone. Mm-hmm. And so if you add a permaglaze or you add something like that you buy, what they don't have right now is someone who can answer the phone, because the dude answers the phone, but if he's out working, he ain't answering the phone. So, I mean, if you have someone who can answer the phone, that's nice. Mm-hmm. That's also key. That alone can help significantly capture the people calling, because usually, dude, at least for me, if I got a fucking problem I need solved, I hit Google and I look for the place with the best reviews and I hit call.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, if I don't get it,
next.
Well, fuck them, next, until I get the one I want. And so...
Or the one that answers.
That's it. That's what I mean. Yeah, the one that answers. And so if you got someone who answers this fucking phone, dude, you're capturing a lot of work.
Like you said, too, with the nicest thing, if you are out and doing jobs and you answer the phone, more than likely, even if you're not trying to be short, you have the job you're doing on your mind. Mm-hmm. So you're probably not as patient on the phone as someone else would be.
Yeah. That was the whole, even with the group homes, once you put me in place, then I started answering all the phone calls, talking to the case managers, talking to the staff. So that was a lot of work that then you and Ryan didn't have to do, and you could just focus on growing the business.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of shit, dude. If I'm working, I do this all the time. If I'm working and I get a phone call, I am definitely short, trying to rush through the conversation, and then, the last maybe minute of a conversation, I don't even fucking remember it. I'm checked out because I'm trying to continue doing what the fuck I'm doing.
So when I blow you up and
bro,
hit you up on Snapchat?
The Snapchat's honestly, the Snapchat's not bad because that's really quick and to the point and you can respond. But when you're on a conversation and you hit the main points in the first minute,
right?
But then people keep talking to you for another couple minutes, I don't know what they tell me.
Right. So that way with lender called me yesterday just to kind of give me a rundown on a couple clients we're trying to work with. And it was one of those, you see his name come in, I like talking to him, but at the same time, it's I have to, you have to prepare for the conversation because you know it's going to go down 8 million rabbit holes that just don't have time for sometimes.
You have to. Dude, you have to do that shit. It's tough to disconnect from what you're doing to then try to be present in something completely different at a moment's notice.
Right.
It's very difficult.
What else we got? Huh?
Fuck, dude, that's a good question. Hour and a half? We're fucking moving pretty good. Let's see.
What do you got next for you? What are your plans outside of flipping and
Dude, I don't know if I told you this. That house we got under contract, the dude owns a goat farm. Did I tell you that?
So you're gonna be a goat farmer?
Dude, I honestly, like, he told me that because we were talking to him, and he's like, yep, I've been milking cows my whole life, but I started milking goats. The last, like, 7 years he's been milking goats. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, no one does that. Tell me more. And the guy's just like, what? I'm like, dude, tell me more. That's the coolest shit I've ever heard. And so he was telling me how, like, he switched from milking cows, which very hard work. You have to haul manure every day. Big milking operation. Getting cows in and out to milk. And then he also did beef cattle, too. So, like, a lot of fucking manual labor on your body pushing these big-ass cows around. And he said now that he moved to goats, because he was, like, getting injured, blowing out his back, like, getting sick and all this stuff. He said moving to goats, his health has been a lot better. He hasn't really been injured. And he only needs to operate a goat milking farm. He only needs 40 acres. And so he grows what he needs. So this is how he's got 70 acres. He grows what he needs on 40 for the hay for the year. And then his 30 acres, he sells that hay to pay for the grain for the year. So pretty much property taxes, and then obviously fuel for harvesting and your hours for like haying pays for food for them for the whole year. And then when you're talking about a goat milking operation compared to a cow milking operation, your like barns are a lot smaller. But so anyways, he's thinking of retiring in like the next year or two. And I was like, the amount I'm considering this is not healthy.
I'm so excited. I want it so bad.
So have you looked at goat milk? With the enzyme breakdown, the amino acid breakdown and everything?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you should.
Is it good or no?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Supposedly way better than dairy, like cow dairy.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Well, then we could drink like raw milk too.
Fuck yeah,
which
dude.
is way better.
Dude, that shit, like, because Sam and I are huge on, like, what's that word called?
Sustainability.
Sustainability, thank
and
you.
homesteading.
Because, like, we do a lot of this shit, like, in our own life to try to be, like, fucking conscious of the chemicals and shit.
Right.
And so, and we want to move in the country so we can have chickens. And so it's like, dude, if we had goats and chickens, like, dude. And then obviously it's a fucking business. You're selling your milk every week.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of never been so excited for something.
So this is going to be a house that you guys move into now, huh?
It would be, yeah. So we'll see, dude. I don't know. I mean,
Didn't you say he was splitting that off with 1 acre? Or did you talk to him about maybe getting...
So the property we got from him, he split that into the acres. So that land that attaches to that house is that 30 acres he does for profit, or does to pay for the grain. So that would go with the business, essentially. I haven't talked to him about selling the business or like buying it from him, but I was like, build a little rapport here, build some rapport with this guy, and I'll go up, I'll check out the operation, see if it's actually something I want to do, right? Because once you see the operation, see if it's actually something I want to do. But dude, honestly, like, flipping houses is super fun, love it, and I would continue doing that. But hopefully next will be a goat farm. I fucking hope so, dude.
It'd be a good side project.
Yeah, it'd be fun, dude. He says, because I asked him, like, if it's a full-time job, and he chuckled. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful. He's like, 2 hours in the morning for milking, 2 hours in the afternoon for milking, and once every 5 weeks he hauls manure. So it went from hauling manure every day to once every 5 weeks. And he's just like, I'm fucking part-time. And I'm like, dude, this is the greatest shit I've ever done.
Right. Nice.
And so you can't tell me, dude, like, hire some high school kids to help out.
Right.
2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and then...
Have some kids so then they can do it.
Yeah, and then once you have kids, the high school kids can train them in, dude, you know, and just keep that rolling. And I just don't... Like, something like that, I think could be a really fun little business.
Definitely.
And you live in the country, dude. You get fucking fresh milk, fresh cheese, fresh fucking eggs. Like, I love that shit, dude.
Do the fainting goats come up and
Why not, dude?
scare the shit out of them, watch them
Dude, yeah.
tip over?
Get a couple of them and then just run around faint. Yeah, I don't know, dude. We'll see. That's a far maybe. But we'll see.
It's one of the things we've been most excited about.
Yeah, dude. I never thought I'd be excited because something that a lot of people say and that like I think about is everything I'm doing now. Like none of it really. Just everything I'm doing now is preparing me for whatever the future holds in like 40 years, 30 years, whatever it is. And so most likely what I'm doing now, I will not be doing in 30 years. And so maybe like that next step on that journey is like a goat farm, right?
Yeah.
Or something like completely out of the wheelhouse, and I'll learn enough shit from that or whatever that somehow that will help me in 30 years for whatever else I'm building, running, whatever.
Right.
So I'm very open to different things because like the journey, I know, like, cause I fucking had like 40 different cars. I know I'm not a dude to keep one thing, do one thing. And so like, I think everything's just stacking on itself to like learn these things so that the person, the Shaun in 30 years, he'll just be able to do so much other shit because like all these skills and building myself. I don't know. That's kind of what I look at.
Yeah. I think we're always evolving as people, and even what you are today, you're something different tomorrow. Even that's
Right.
fast. I mean, you're always should be evolving. I think it's pretty boring to think that you're going to be doing the same shit. Like that's why jobs of 20 years you don't see that anymore. Part of that is corporate America, right? Like you have no trust in the corporations, but then also what a boring ass life.
Fuck, dude. Boring.
Can you imagine clocking in at 8 o'clock every day and clocking out 4:30 or 5 o'clock every day?
I didn't ever make it more than a fucking year and a half at a place.
Yeah.
2 years before I was fucking on to the next one, doing the next thing. I just, I couldn't handle it, dude. Couldn't handle it. Too wild. Huh. So I got. What's next for you, AJ?
I don't know. Kids keep us busy. We have 2 kids, so that's always busy. We have talked a lot. We got a camper. So we're gonna do a lot of that this year.
That'd be awesome.
Little dude decided he doesn't want to do baseball.
Okay.
Just kind of tough. He's 8 years old and he's already had 4 years of baseball.
Oh shit. Okay.
So he played winter baseball indoor. And that kind of killed it for him. He was all excited for it, and then by halfway through, you could just tell he wasn't digging it.
Dang.
So we talked about, okay, well, spring baseball, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I think I was going to take the year off. First, Ash and I were both like, no, you're playing. And then, I personal training for 14 plus years. So used to dealing with and coached quite a bit at that time too. Do we want to push him, have him resent it?
Right.
Sure, he'll do it.
Right.
But he's going to resent it the whole damn time.
Right.
And burn him out. So we just decided, you know what, you want to take this year off, it's fine. You're not sitting in front of the switch. We'll be out doing stuff.
It's good.
So it's like, do we just find something else for him to do? Or just let him take the year off? Because he has been pretty sports heavy for past year and a half, basically, one thing into the next.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good for him to take a little break.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'd be really good. Yeah, as long as, like, which you wouldn't, as long as he's not just switching it. Or just fucking.
Yeah.
That's some shit, dude. Like, kids will be like, oh, I don't want to do this activity, and then they'll sit in front of the TV or play on the iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
And parents allow it. And it's like, bro, like, if they didn't want to do that thing, make them do something else so they'll realize that, shit, dude, that was kind of a lot more fun. I should have been playing baseball than helping mom and dad cook dinner every fucking night.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
So we'll kind of let him explore, see what that looks like. But
yeah,
he knows for sure it's not that sit in front of the damn switch.
That's good.
What we notice with that is we do let him have some switch time. We do it as a family sometimes, Xbox here and there. But once he touches it, it is a fucking drug. It is, straight up. Because then it's every 5 minutes. Oh, can I be on the Switch? Can I play the Switch? And it's like, no. A couple days without it, you don't fucking hear a thing about it.
Yep.
It's like it doesn't exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
damn, that's wild.
you try to really, well, you look at the endorphins and whatever else you get from that shit.
That's dude. That's TV with me.
Dude, Sean's the worst.
Holy
With TV?
Bad. Dude.
He's
Like,
real bad.
My favorite thing to do since I've been a kid is fucking watch movies. Like, my actual favorite hobby is watching movies. And so now that Netflix does, like, Sam and I just talked about this. Like, my dad and my mom and Kyle, like, we would watch TV together for like an hour to a few nights a week, right? And it was like the TV shows we liked. Now those TV shows are all on Netflix, so I can binge those cocksuckers. Yeah. And that's what's bad, dude. Is like, I'll watch it and I will think. Dude, I will think about that TV show and the shit going on in that TV show for like hours, for like 2 days past. I think about that shit. Once I hit that third day, if I haven't watched it for 3 days, I forget it exists.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's out of my mind. I forget. And I can do like, I'm thinking about business full time. Then I'm thinking about like training full time. My brain becomes so much more on the fucking progress and not reflecting on a fucking TV show or movie I watched.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But dude, I get that at fucking 28, dude. And so a kid's got to be worse, I would think.
Yeah, I can't just sit and watch the TV. So like, we build Legos when we watch TV. And so I just like the noise in the background.
No, dude, I can't
do like,
that.
Whenever I'm just like, it's 10 o'clock, like, let's be done. And Sean's just like, but TV.
Dude,
just addicted.
Well, like,
really?
Dude, if a TV...
I would never guess that.
Oh, so, bro, if a TV's on in the room, we can be at a family event. They got the TV on. I don't give a fuck what's going on over... It doesn't even have to be good TV, dude. I'm watching it. It can be something just shit, and I'm just like...
I'm like, we would go get coffee with my dad at
horrible,
Raleigh's.
Dude.
And every other Sunday we would.
Yeah.
And they would have some outdoors channel on.
I don't even give a fuck about the goddamn DNR in fucking New Hampshire. But Jesus Christ, dude, I would just be like, babe, did you see that? Babe, did you see that? Look, it's a possum. Babe, it's a possum. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you see it? So stupid, dude.
I would never guess that.
Horrible.
He's real bad.
So I try not to have the TV on unless it's like fucking like Saturday or Sunday only, or Friday or Saturday only, and we'll do like 1 or 2 episodes. If I let it go much farther than that, dude, my shit will get ruined. My life will get ruined.
Mm-hmm.
That's good that you know that. Like,
yeah.
At least, yeah. But imagine being a kid though, because they have no idea what the hell's going on. They just feel good watching it or playing it or whatever else, and then
absolutely,
I really think it does wire their brain differently, because we notice behavior, huge difference in behavior. Just, and he's not doing anything that he shouldn't on the Switch, right? It's just, I don't know what it does. His behavior shit, much more shit when he's doing that. He just doesn't want to listen as good. Man. Get him away from him a couple of days and he's back to normal. But so yeah, we limit that. Like I said, now we try to do more. Instead of giving him 15 minutes to half an hour on his own, it's, we can play, but you're going to play with somebody else. It can be a family thing.
That's
really
nice.
cool.
Play with your sister, and that ends usually in a fight, but whatever. So that's fun, watching the kids. It's always an adventure with the kids. We just try to let them figure this shit out on their own. Like if they're fighting, like this morning, they were at each other. Merrick, give me that back. And he was torturing her, and you could tell he was just doing it to torture her. We just kind of sit back and let them figure it out. Yeah. Until it's about to come to blows, and it's like, all right, stop, enough. Yeah. Because that's like, reality is, mom and dad won't always be there to squash your battles for you. Figure it out.
That's cool. I like that.
So yeah, you're saying not being, a lot of kids. That's one thing my wife has talked about. A lot of those kids, school is their safe space, and now you're forcing virtual learning into an environment that is terrible for them to begin with.
Right.
Like, absolutely. Granted, they might not be getting a lot of learning done at school because what they're dealing with at home, whatever else. But at least they had a space where they were safe.
Yes, 100%. And that's important, dude. That's right. Yeah.
So now I have virtual learning where who knows how many of them were just left home alone.
Didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Aren't actually getting lunch, or they're just going in the cupboard and eating fucking ice cream or, whatever, candy for lunch.
Or nothing,
Or nothing for lunch, yeah. And not...
not that school lunches are a lot better, but at least
that's not a
some
topic.
caloric intake.
But, yeah, and getting out, like... the thing about school, dude, is you're mandatory getting an hour or 45 minutes of exercise a day.
Right.
Dude.
Just the social aspect too. Like, these kids need that social interaction.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Sam and I talk about like homeschooling and things like that, but there's so many programs throughout the day that you can like go to with your kids or send your kids to, like day programs and shit to get that social aspect. Dude, they ain't getting that one. The virtual learning shit, those parents weren't set up to homeschool, so they weren't probably looking into those programs. Probably most of those programs probably were shut down.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so the kids weren't getting any social aspect.
No.
That's brutal.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you've met some of my friends that were homeschooled. I mean, the one played volleyball, so she was like in like high school sports, so she had friends.
Well, Andrew Aish.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
dude. Normals can be awesome, dude, cool dude. I was friends with him for like 4 years before he's like, oh yeah, I was homeschooled. I was like,
Right.
oh, fuck, dude, you're
Yeah.
sweet. I'd have never known that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially nowadays, there's so many programs set out. Now you have so many other, and obviously, try to believe in the public school system. With my wife being,
Right.
an administration in it, but at church, I volunteered at our church twice a month. So does my wife, and I was talking to kids just about other people struggling and how to deal with it, whatever else. And the one kid's like, "Well, I go to private school. I never see any of that stuff you're talking about." I'm like, yep, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because it's not allowed. If
Right.
that was to happen, you'd be booted out of the private school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, you need accountability with that too, but you're getting so many charter schools and stuff popping up too. Like
Yeah.
I think it's good because really, what is it? It breeds competition.
Hell yeah, dude.
What does competition bring out? The best of you, or it
best.
should. If it doesn't,
Hell yes.
then you sink to the bottom and you lose students, you lose funding.
Yep.
That's my issue with the Eau Claire School District, right? They lose students, but yet
They don't lose funding. We pay.
you got the good old state to step in and
Fucking ridiculous.
blame it on COVID and
Yeah.
still give them funding.
That shit pissed me off so goddamn much. Nothing like me paying for fucking them not being responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
Choose up my ass. Fun.
How many rabbits did we chase? Did we chase enough?
That's a couple rabbits. That's good, man. That's good. I gotta take a leak though, so we gotta wrap this thing up. Shit, that's pretty good.
This is, I think, one of the longest episodes.
I
I
fucking love
think
it, dude.
155 might have been the longest, actually.
We could do it.
Let's just fun. We'll crank on past 155,
Yeah.
hit the 2 hour mark or something.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on more about COVID, but we don't have to.
I don't know, it's a fun one. It's a
Ugh.
fun. What do you think, AJ? Because so you were a personal trainer for 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
In that realm, so you spent some of your life like self-employed doing that gig, and then some of it employed. How was your first transition into that, and like going from like regular world into self-employed world?
So when I started out at Gold's. That was my first, actually more than 14 years. I started in 2006, I believe.
Okay.
Went through my internship at Gold's when that was still in Eau Claire.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. A big facility. Their onboarding process was good, but you had all the corporate stuff with that, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Your income was, I don't want to say it was capped, but it was definitely not like being on your own or independent contractor
Sure.
through other facilities. So definitely learned what I could there and kind of left that when that was done.
Sure.
So just using it kind of as a stepping stone,
That's cool.
which I think was the best thing you could do. Learn through a big corporation that has all the tools to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go off. So I got my I studied ACE,
Yeah.
and I also did ACSM or NASM. Sorry.
Yeah,
So I went up getting NASM certified. I had that for 8 years, I believe.
Okay.
And then, and kind of during that time too, I went into CrossFit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The CrossFit certification, which not really a certification, just to, you go through the class and
Right.
get it. So not to knock on CrossFit coaches, but I guess you can knock on them too, because
Yeah.
I think really you need a background in kinesiology and understanding how the body works to be a good coach.
I think that's huge.
We've talked about that too.
It's fucking huge, dude.
Watching people do fucking snatches with the worst form ever, clean and jerks with the worst form ever. I'm just like, you're just waiting to get injured.
Those are dynamic moves that take a lot of training to do properly, and just that's kind of my issue with portions of CrossFit, especially what people see on TV. It's like what you see on TV are elite athletes.
Yes.
These are not. They're no different than watching basketball, right?
Yeah.
They watch on TV. Elite athletes, a small percentage of the population, very small.
Right.
No different than what you see on TV.
Right.
Normal people shouldn't be knocking out reps of 225 for shit deadlifts or anything, really.
Right.
For that matter, unless you're properly trained to do it.
Right.
But people watch that and like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome way to get yourself jacked up.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, I did that, and then actually starting up again with some in-home clients.
Yeah.
So that'd be a couple times a week is all. I just want to keep that limited, but I really do miss it. Training is one of those things where some of the biggest pain in the ass clients end up being the best.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that have the most change.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're the whiniest. And I'll never forget this client. I dreaded having her as a client. It's one of those people I'd surround my couch like, shit. Complainer. Like, complain the whole time. Finally, it boiled down to I sat down with her. Halfway through the session, she started complaining. I was like, you know what? We need to talk. So it's like, are you enjoying this? Yeah, like, I really am. I'm not. It's like, just shock look. I was like, you complain, you question everything. Like, have you ever done anything to hurt, like make you hurt yourself? Well, no. All right, knock it off. Trust me and try it.
Right.
It's like, well, So cool thing with that is I actually had to stop and look, and like she was just questioned herself. It wasn't that she was questioning me. She just had no like confidence in herself. So it's cool. It's a great learning experience for me too. Like, just because they're doing that doesn't mean that they're against you.
Yeah.
It's like an inner struggle that they're having.
Right. That makes sense.
So I really learned that as a huge thing too. Like, I'm not afraid to sit down and have a conversation with people anymore. Dig into that, dig into why that's happening. So that's huge.
That's really cool.
Another one, Dr. Mahmoud Ahmed, like phenomenal guy, but he's one of those guys I was like, this is going to be a struggle. Greatest client ever.
That's so
one of the
cool.
greatest clients ever. So, when you see that change happen, like everyone, when I started, I was like, athletes. I want to be with athletes. I want to be with athletes. I want to be with bodybuilders. I want to be, with all that. No. Being sports specific or one-dimensional, it's not my style.
Right.
Just again, kind of boils into personality of wanting to be down 10 different holes, things. Like, it's fun to me to pick apart different things.
Yeah.
Did the whole boxing thing when I was young.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That's cool.
Roughed MMA, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. That's fucking cool.
So yeah, I've done a lot of things. Played semi-pro football. Damn near died doing that.
That sounds awful, dude.
Yeah, look. That's what that is.
Fuck that.
So I blew my intestines apart in 2 spots.
Oh.
You know Griesiak? Josh Griesiak?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we were playing practice, and I was safety, ran up on a ball, just grabbed it. He was receiver, came in on a slant route. I tucked the ball on the side up in the air, and probably 2 of the faster guys on the teams collided, and down I went. I had no idea what had happened. I stood up and fell back down, and I'm going to the hospital. Yeah, in the hospital for a week.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, there's like things that I thought of would be fun, and like barely ever did I think semi-pro football would be fun.
So funny story, I was 32. It's an old son of a bitch, right? 32. Thought, geez, I never played high school football because we didn't have it.
Sure.
I'm going to go play semi-pro football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, that's wild.
How long did you play before that happened?
I think we're in 3 or 4 games in this season.
Oh, fuck. That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'd do it again. I would do it again. Like everything in life I look at.
Oh, yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about my past kind of growing up. That'd be another fun episode to
on that.
cover.
Yeah.
So my childhood was not great, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't.
Right.
I really think everything develops you into a stronger person, whatever else.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. There's like I talk about that shit a lot with Sam too. Like, dude, I don't like regret anything. The only things I regret is maybe like not enjoying something I was a part of more. You know, like not being more present in like in an experience. You know, but outside of that, dude, like everything I've fucked up, relationships, friendships, all that. Like, dude, don't regret any of it because like you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be the person you are.
Exactly. Yep. 100%.
But they're like the things I do regret are like a handful of experiences where I wish I would have been more present in the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So we talked about that though, even with business, right? Like with family.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of sacrifice. You know, up until 2 years ago, I was working weekends, real estate full time during the week. Like when your kids are little, sacrifice I made. Looking back, I miss a lot of shit because that's the only time I had weekends, right? But I worked 12-hour shifts Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
To make sure I had a steady income coming.
Right.
You know, so looking back on some of that stuff, but again, you know, my children seeing me bust my ass. Is there value in that?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, craziest shit about that. So I found this out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, dude, this
My
is crazy.
grandpa, all right? So my grandpa owned a restaurant called The Platter up in Ashland. It was like this very nice high-end diner. I think JFK flew in and had dinner there one time.
Yeah, some president did.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Like it's really nice, like fucking, what do you even call it? Like what's the like high-end shit called?
Like a supper club or
supper club, thank you. So it's like a supper club. It used to be a whorehouse in like the late 1800s. Super sick place. And my grandpa owned this place, operated and all that stuff. What I came to find out that I had never known, my grandpa started out working at Bredding's up there as an engineer. So he went to school and became an engineer. He worked for, I don't know, 20 years as an engineer before he bought the Platter. He continued for another 20 years going to work every morning as an engineer and going to work every afternoon running the Platter for 20 years before he retired with like, I think he retired with like 40 years at Bredding's to just then run just the Platter and then ended up like retiring from that when he was 70. But it's like, dude, my family didn't tell me that. Like, no one told me that, like, Grandpa was a fucking straight hustler who, like, every day, up before the kids got up and at work, and then would come home after all the kids were in bed. All the kids grew up working the Platter. They grew up raising each other. And that, I think, can build really good people, too, because, like, the whole family's really close. Mm-hmm. Great family. They all help each other out. But would that have happened without the dad hustling and being that? So then they had to like support each other, right? That's something a lot of people don't think about. Is like that impact that could be too,
right?
Of being that role model.
It's a balance.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so when you are present, being present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so when you do have the time, making sure you're actually focused on developing those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't really regret that, but
no, that's cool.
He didn't do that forever, right? Because you said, because he would bake you cakes or whatever when you were young. So he must have not have worked all day.
Right, that was because he didn't have to work for like a lot of the day because it was a supper club, so it was just in the afternoon that he was working.
Yeah, but so he like must have quit Bredding's at some point.
But yeah,
no,
he
he
did
did
60.
Yeah. So he,
okay.
I think, around like.
Did
60,
I miss that part in that?
Yeah, probably around like 60, he quit Bredding's. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so, then it was just like the Platter, and he wasn't that wild.
So it just brings up to another point with, like, you know, everyone will sit there and say, "Oh, it must be nice," or, "Oh, you know," a lot of people look at generational wealth too. Mm-hmm. How many millionaires are born out of that, or put into that through generational wealth? The percentage is actually very small if you look in the like research. Like some of the richest people, weren't put into that through generational wealth.
Right.
They were put into that through, maybe they saw struggles, so they didn't want to face that same struggle, so they busted their ass
Right.
harder. Or, you'll see it all the time on fucking Facebook Marketplace with, rental listings.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
had
fuck,
something
yeah.
listed, and everyone's like, oh, 900 for that. Da, da, da. So then they use this stupid ass, say $1,000 a month, and you got 2 people paying on that. It's like, where the hell are you finding a duplex for $100,000 for one, you dumbass?
Yeah, ain't happening.
2, I think they had the interest rate listed at, 1.5 lower than what it truly is for commercial. I'm like,
Yeah.
you people, instead of running your mouth, wasting your time, use that energy to fucking learn the system and go do it.
Yeah.
100%, dude.
Go do it. Go be a realtor. Go do something to get in the real estate realm.
Mm-hmm.
Come to fucking Wisco-Ria.
Huh. Dude,
Learn how to do it with, I don't like
3.5. But still.
I don't like the whole no money down.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
learn how to do creative real estate. Get into it. Instead, you're going to sit there and be a keyboard warrior talking about everyone else ripping people off.
That's it,
And you
dude.
don't have any idea what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 100%. Dude, that's beautiful. That's so true. I love it. People need to get educated, dude. They need to understand this shit.
It's so hard
most
to
don't.
nowadays. Yeah.
Most don't want to, because if you sit there and, like,
Right.
'cause I even said to one girl, I was like, I'd love to explain real estate to you. I said, but look at this. I said, there was just a 4-plex in Chippewa that sold for like probably $750 range. It was listed for 5 days.
You know what that property is, babe?
Oh, this is the one that we've looked at.
Sam and I were offered that house 2.5 years ago for $510,000.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to remind you.
Yep.
And that's probably close. Well, no, I ran numbers at like 625, and it made sense at 625.
It made a lot of sense at 510. Like, we were very stupid for passing that up.
Mm. That was the one you wanted us to live in, right?
Yeah, all right, guys, let me tell you a couple losses. Sam and I passed up on, like, multiple good fucking real estate fourplexes, and that's all we've missed out on. A whole lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
But anyways, keep going. Sorry about that.
So, I ran numbers on that at 750.
Yeah.
Which is a loss. I
Oh,
mean, I don't care.
100%.
Even if you ran everything at 1250 in Chippewa,
Yeah.
which you definitely top a rent there. Anyways, like, it was a loss. So I just ran those numbers. I said, fourplex just sold in Chippewa for 750. Here's what that would cost as a mortgage. And the lady replied back with, whoa, something. I'm like, do a little bit of research to see what that shit actually costs.
Hell yeah.
When someone sits there and tells you $100,000, maybe looking at just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Where the hell are you getting a unit for $100,000?
One of these people, you think you can't go buy a house for $100,000. How are you going to buy a damn multifamily property for $100,000?
That's another thing I love seeing too, is people when they see rent totals. My mortgage is less than that. You're not running a business, dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, that's 10 years ago that you bought your property.
And I guarantee they're not fucking saving for CapEx. They're not saving for
Right.
fucking repairs, maintenance.
Right.
None of that shit.
You're not running a business.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not only that, but you pull out of your savings or go to your mom and dad or someone else to have your water heater fixed.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Because you live paycheck to paycheck. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's why you have time to sit there and bitch about other people.
Love that shit. All right, man. Hey, thank you for coming on. I had
Love
a
it.
freaking blast. It was a lot of fun. Longest episode. This was so much fun. I love it.
I'm going to laugh if I look back and this wasn't the longest episode now.
No, it's for sure the
I
longest.
think so.
Well, guys, check us out on the YouTubes. Leave comments, leave reviews, share the show if you liked it. If you didn't like this show, you're up a damn creek. check out REI-Con. Go to Wisco-Ria and check out REI-Con 23. Register for that if you're interested in coming and learning some things from some really good speakers.
You have to register if you want food.
Yeah. Yep. What do you got, AJ? Where people find you at?
Try to stay off social as much as possible.
That's all right.
Instagram is probably the one I'm on the most, or Twitter. There's
There
Twitter.
you go. Love it.
I'll give Sam the stuff. Maybe she can post it.
Perfect.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Be in the bio. Anything else, Sam?
No, that's it.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
See ya.